Good morning. Happy Friday, Lions. How we doing? Who be juicing? Who be juicing? Previously on Kimba TV. If this long does work out, I don't think I want to take that bearish retest. Therefore, that means I need to get into a short before this dump happens. This is the daily on .btc, right? Have you been with me when we were talking about this? You with me on this? Markets are opening in 10 minutes, yo. How we doing? Tech, what's going on? Afnegunka, let me pause the music real quick. Afnegunka, Hegemonia, Winter Sources, let's end this week strong. Cheers to that. What a fucking week, man. First off, happy Friday, y'all. Nothing has really changed that much since last night. So CME still has bad high, Coinbase still has bad high. Derivatives are the only ones that swept in a weird way yesterday. So still the same. So I guess if you want to take a short, if you're more bearish, like this zone is still up for grabs for a potential short. If you're looking for a long, the weekend lows are probably going to get swept. So I would probably say either a swing fail. Well, that's it, swing fail. 2 swing fails. And then the biggest thing is that Monday is a 3-day holiday weekend in the US. So that's it. Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? 1, 2, wait. Trinkum says 64.6 would be where I'm looking at. Okay, now are you just, what's the thought process in that? Did you just do the bare minimum and identify that level? That's okay. But what I would want you to do next now, Trinkum, is what kind of notes do you have on 3-day holiday weekends, Trinkum? If you want to refresh your memory, watching the highlights from October, November, December of last year, I think would be really beneficial because we had 4 3-day holiday weekends, every other weekend. But what I would want you to do is take a look at your notes, Trinkum, and figure out what kind of levels, what kind of liquidity grabs, what kind of divs, what kind of CVD you can expect on a holiday 3-day weekend. So yes, 64.6 is the next level, obviously, but I would want you to go beyond that and try to see and remember what you can remember from 3-day holiday weekends. So does it grab the first level of liquidity? Does it try to grab the second level of liquidity? Are any divs that are formed during the 3-day holiday weekend believable? If it makes a bull CVD div or a bear CVD div, can you trust those over the 3-day holiday weekend? Is Saturday more volatile? Is Sunday more volatile? Or is Monday more volatile? So I would want you to start to, take it to the 3-dimension instead of just looking at, 2-dimensional data. Sounds good, Trinkum? Another thing that maybe it's something to think about too is, do single prints get grabbed or left behind during 3-day holiday weekends? If there are bad highs or bad lows on CME, obviously the CME is closed. So if any bad highs or bad lows get grabbed over the 3-day holiday weekend, what's the probability that the CME is going to go back and grab it? Or is it ignored? Alrighty, little hints. I have my sort of suspicions, but those are maybe some of the big points that you might want to start thinking about. Alrighty, don't have any notes of 3-day. Yeah, I tried to give you a couple hints, Trinkum, but those are probably the big variables that you might want to think about. Do you have any questions for me right now? Let me know if you have any questions for me right now, Trinkum. So there is a potential swing fail short opportunity, and there is a hedge long opportunity that I can see right now. Great questions though, Trinkum. Let me know. As a bull, I would obviously prefer to fail auction and breach the 68420, right? I want the failed auction setup, right? So I want to go pink, but you know, this is like a valid short hedge now that we've kind of created this. Trinkum says, don't have any notes of 3-day holiday. I'll watch October and November now. Got you. Yeah, just something to keep in mind, Trinkum, because there are sort of common things that you can pick out from the 3-day holidays. Jeremy says, what level are you looking for short SFP? I see single prints, MVP OCS 68.2, sweep level 68.7, which confluence with heat map. So there you go, Jeremy. Basically, you have to figure out where your levels would be. And here's the thing, Jeremy. Do you know the textbook way to play a swing failure pattern, Jeremy? You need to make sure you nerd out on swing failure pattern. That is why, Jeremy, the book says you let the swing fail happen first. You go from the sweep level to here, you pull the fib like that, and you put limits all the way in from 7.5 to the sweep level. Your stop loss is here. So just like you were asking me, hey, Kimba, where am I supposed to set limits? I see single prints and I see this and that. You don't. You let the structure happen and then, yeah. So you take a little bit of a risk by putting blind limits in, whether it's a long or a short. So that's why, Jeremy, you should always let the structure happen first. Then the lower low or the higher high is your stop loss. Wait, ooh, actually, look at this. How many of y'all remember when I said we were talking about stop loss? Oh, holy shit. How many of y'all remember this? How many of y'all remember when I said, hey, I'm going to put my, oh my fucking God, I just realized this. How many of y'all remember this? When I was like, that's just in case it wants to trident me, I'm going to keep my stop loss at a loss. Remember when I was like, I'm not going to put my stop loss at break even because this fucker? How many of y'all remember that? Yeah. Get nasty. Math. But yeah, we might have to TP a little thangity thang. So just something to think about and remember. Yeah. Boogamma. How we doing? But yeah. Everybody remember that? I hope that's in the highlights. I was like, I am gonna keep my stop loss at a loss. It's not here. It's here. Wow. Math. I'm in pretty big on DOT. I need to probably shave a little bit. I don't really feel comfortable with like damn near 500,000 DOT. Feels a little goofy. Yeah, because I had 400,000 yesterday, and then obviously I added a little bit more. I mean, I have 155,000 just on Tapit alone. Testnet! Mate, Boogamma, quit playing with me. The math is the math. Quit playing with me. Did we identify that level? Did we identify that level? Yep. So shout outs to that. Did we notice that those were weak tops? Yes. Give it up for that. Who heard that? How many of y'all heard me say I'm probably gonna get in on the third candle? Give it up for getting the right time frame. And then the most important part, do we have good risk management? Hands up if we got good risk management and we can't lose. Did we just put ourselves in a position where we can't lose? That's the real juice. That's the real juice. If every single trade that you take is a free roll, then theoretically you're always juicing. Alrighty? There's always another trade. Do not prioritize not getting left at the train station over protecting your capital. And just enjoy it. You're gonna have thousands of these opportunities all the time. So if you can just protect yourself, it's a lot more enjoyable. And man, I think most of you guys know what it is, what I'm talking about, but the worst is when you realize you just did something that you knew that you shouldn't have done. Adding to a losing position, moving your stop loss. So it's too late once you feel like that. You gotta try to be proactive and make sure you don't get yourself in that position. So sometimes doing the right thing is usually the harder thing to do. It's easier to just be like, oh, I want to gamba. I'm willing to take a small L. It's a lot easier to do that than to man up and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna take a loss. And it's okay if I get left at the train station. I'm not gonna take a loss. All right, happy Friday. What a week, what a day. These are these moments where all of the stuff that we learn or supposedly we're learning, you get to put into practice. All right, let's see what the fuck is gonna happen, man. This is some exciting way to finish out the week. Let's go. How many of y'all think we're gonna get a failed auction? How many of y'all think this was just a Gucci Magucci Bulla retest? How many of y'all think, even though I am protecting myself, okay, how many of you think we eventually can do a failed auction on the value area high and rotate that bitch back up? What do you guys think about this though? What do you think about this? Value area high. Ding, 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 ding. And last but not least, did I do a good job to kind of remind y'all and put the brakes on any sort of like euphoric bullishness that might have been happening here? I tried to be like, yo, this is a hedge short opportunity, y'all. Do not get all, right? I said, don't freak out on me if I show you I'm, Pico pixel top short. Uh-oh. Don't be mad at me. I was objective, right? I was objective. Quit playing with me. All righty, Latuche up. You got to do what the math says, y'all. You can't just blindly have a bias. We Gucci Magooch. The math is the math. Hot dog. And I want y'all to tell me if Sato goes short here. Okay? I'm trying to narrate everything as much as I can, y'all. You just said. For here, goes from the highest to the lowest. Like that. Look at that. That's where if you're bullish, okay, at the same time, if you're in a short, you need to see the reaction here. I was joking about, we want, Sato to flip and go short here, but this is a crucial level. Everybody Gucci? Math is math. I could do this all day. Let's go. We could do this all day, right? Right, chat? We could do this all day. We could do this all day. First things first is it's going to always come down to what you can remember. So have you seen Wicks of Destiny before? Yes or no? It starts there. The second follow-through question is, on average, how long do they take to get filled? The third pivot question is, how many of those are on a weekend? And you already know what the fourth pivot is. How many of those are on a 3-day holiday weekend? So if you have a data set of this is all the Coinbase Wicks of Destiny, you can start by, I think it would be smarter to say on average, as a whole, on average, how long does it take to get filled? And then cut it and look at only the 3-day holiday weekend ones. All right. So let's see here. Yeah, so Fabio, those are some of the ways that you want to filter out your data. If this is the first time that you're starting to keep track, those are the ways in which I think you would want to organize the data. Yeah, but do you remember what my plan was though? Aside from the Coinbase Wick of Destiny? Do you remember yesterday what I was looking for? Aritoto says, I see where the previous month value area high is now. Looks like that's where the Wick of Destiny wants to. Shayu, Gustavo Eruzzi says, if we fail to turn it into support and make it into resistance, sweep of bad lows would be next target, right? I would say so, yes. Yeah. So for example, if you're not in a short yet, that's okay, even though we had pixel perfect box. But even if you're not in a short right now, what would be another short that you could take? Eruzi, lose, bearish retest. So you could, that 68420 to 68610, that might be like a bearish retest head short. Yeah, you see it? Hopefully you were following along and, when I drew the box here, you were, people were able to extend it and pixel perfect. We drew this box when? 3 days ago? Pretty cool stuff. Any questions? I'm gonna be packing and prepping with baby girl. I'll be poking my head in all night, but I mean, it's everything that we talked about yesterday. Pretty cool, right? This whole week was straight math, y'all. What do you guys think about this week? What the fuck? The whole week was straight math, y'all. Got filled live here. Anticipated the golden pocket pullback. We said head short here, head short here, head short here. Tried it. Got stopped out. Break even. No loss. Head short. Gucci. We said that the only time that I would even think about adding to a Bitcoin long was here. We took the dot one live fill. We did the TA on dot the day before, live fill, live avoiding the stop loss hunt. Even like the 4-hour candle close on this yesterday was pretty crazy. Look at that, pixel perfect. Iruzi says there's also a possible failed auction into another failed auction, right? Sure. So you're talking about like that. So when we actually talked about this last weekend, but this is going to start, like there's already retail people doing this. I'm surprised that people haven't really mentioned it in our chat, but you know that there's retail that's doing this. Do you know about that? They're actually a little bit early, but they're not wrong. You're going to start to see this. So when you see a failed auction within a failed auction, like 80% of the time, you're probably making a symmetrical triangle. I was thinking more for a short. Well, what would be the range? So this is one range. And then this is one range. You're in no man's land. Hence the volume gap. So you need to get back in. So like here, you need to get back in and turn it into support, or you need to lose it and turn it into resistance. If it bounces at PM and does a failed auction, what's PM? I do talk about that scenario. So you're talking about dink, 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 dink. Yes? So like you're pulling a fib like this. Is that possible? Yes. But if Bitcoin can stay above this, this is bullish. Yeah, it's a little bit, I mean, it's possible, but yeah, well, it's possible. The first thing that I would say is how reliable are failed auctions on a 3-day holiday weekend? This failed auction structure with all that money and all these shorts trapped is a much better narrative than what you could build here. Does that make sense? All this and all of this means a lot more than a tick. So if it was the weekday, I would say it's less likely. But since it's the weekend, who the fuck knows? The biggest weekend like shit show would be to go and swing fail this. Can you imagine? Ah, bitch. But this looks good. You know, the bears bit for it, like they went for it. And lots of shorts. 25 million trapped right now. So, yeah. I just don't see dink to like have a major flush or a major flush. Thank you guys. Houston, V001, Aritodo, Ninja Pirate, Lil Zen, Eruzi. I'll be back a little bit later. Peace, y'all. Be safe. Be safe. Get nasty.